See, Gus getting a psychic vision. Tell him, Gus. It's coming to me. Psychic vision. The Democratic Party. They. Wait. I see it all. The Democratic Party is the party of illegals.
Because his mother had died. My father, as the one processing the paperwork, put my grandmother down as his mother. And so I am illegal in this country. My parents are illegal here in this country.
I mean, we may do papers on it, Marco. Maybe we're going to do papers. I don't even know if you need them. They're not going to be fighting each other. They've had it. They've had a big fight, like two kids in a schoolyard. You know, they fight like hell. You can't stop them. Let them fight for about 2-3 minutes. Then it's easy to stop them.
And then Daddy has to sometimes use strong language to
You have to use strong language. Every once in a while, you have to use a certain word.
I think we have to join the House.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the one and only James Williams, Dark Waters, and I'm back. And now you can see me. And hopefully things are going well for you guys. Hopefully life is treating you fantastically. Hopefully you are living life, loving it, and enjoying it. I so am doing the same thing. I want to get into something that's starting to bother me. And I don't know how many of you guys notice all of this negative coverage about the bombing. And this pushback, oh, you didn't destroy the nuclear weapon. You didn't destroy the nuclear base. And I'm going to tell you, remember, we said that this is Pride Month, right? And this is just for those who've been with me. You know, if you ain't been around and you don't know what I'm talking about. But let me just take you back to the board real quick. Anytime you see pride by biblical law, pride cometh before destruction, and a haughty spirit before the fall. And if you hear, that's how we judge the news, from a spiritual lens. You can go to Fox News and listen to Fox News and whatever. But this is what we started this month off with, all these pride events right here. And I'm not talking about people marching the street. I'm talking about Donald Trump and Elon Musk beefing. And then it went from Donald Trump and Elon Musk to Donald Trump and Tucker Carlson. And what we're seeing now is pride rearing its ugly head to the point to where it's kind of being egged on. Now, we just came through the battle of pride with Iran and Israel, right? And we saw a manifestation of that yesterday when Israel started bombing the people afterwards. After the Trump even said, he said they started sending more bombs as soon as we made our deals because it's pride. Well, then we get to the point to where now we're defending the bomb strike to the media. And pride cometh before destruction. So we're looking for how this can be used to destroy the United States of America, and it's quite clear what's going on. But let's take a listen to Pete Hegseth first and see what he has to say. But it's quite clear what is going on. If you haven't picked up on it, I will explain it to you after we take a listen.
Let him answer this question.
Hello, Mr. Secretary.
Yeah. There's a reason the president calls out fake news for what it is. These pilots, these refuelers, these fighters, these air defenders, the skill and the courage it took to go into enemy territory flying 36 hours on behalf of the American people and the world to take out a nuclear program is beyond what anyone in this audience can fathom. And then the instinct of CNN, the instinct of the New York Times is to try to find a way to spin it for their own political reasons to try to hurt President Trump or our country. They don't care what the troops think. They don't care what the world thinks. They want to spin it to try to make him look bad based on a leak. Of course, we've all seen plenty of leakers. And what do leakers do? They have agendas. And what do? Do they share the whole information or just the part that they want to introduce? And when they introduce that preliminary report that's deemed to be a low assessment, you know what a low assessment means? Low confidence in the data in that report. And why is there low confidence? Because all of the evidence of what was just bombed by 12 30,000-pound bombs is buried under a mountain, devastated and obliterated. So if you want to make an assessment of what happened at Fordo, you better get a big shovel and go really deep, because Iran's nuclear program is obliterated. And somebody somewhere is trying to leak something to say oh, with low confidence, we think maybe it's moderate. Those that dropped the bombs precisely in the right place know exactly what happened when that exploded. And you know who else knows? Iran. That's why they came to the table right away, because their nuclear capabilities have been set back beyond what they thought were possible because of the courage of a commander-in-chief who led our troops, despite what the fake news wants to say.
Have you guys ever heard of a pride trap? A pride trap is when you accomplish something and someone comes against what you've accomplished to try and discredit it, and then they put you in a position where you have to defend what you've done over and 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 over again. And it's designed to get you prideful. Not prideful like, oh, I'm proud I did a good job. But it's meant to trigger the demon of pride that each man has a little bit of attachment to. There's pride of life, and then there's pride. It's just a part of man, the flesh of man. And here's what I see going on. You see, there's people who want full-out war with Iran. And we know our media is occupied. So guess what our occupied media is doing? They're just poking. And now if I'm the Iranian government, and I'm sitting there and I'm watching the NATO summit, right? When Pete Hegseth says this, how does that make me look to my people of Iran? It makes me look bad. So now it starts to poke at my pride, right? If they could have it the way they want it, if the deep state could have it the way they want it, we would have to go into Iran, boots on the ground, and chase after this damn mountain to verify that the nuclear program has been destroyed. And that's what this is all about. It's about them trying to prime the president to go further, to keep it on the minds of the American people. And quite frankly, we still have those terrorist cells inside the United States of America because Joe Biden let millions of terrorists into this nation. And what worries me about what I'm seeing is the only reason why the media would keep highlighting this is if they're waiting for an event. It's kind of like, let me keep something in front of your face. Let me keep it in front of the American people's faces because I'm waiting for the next shoe to drop. And that's what it feels like. It feels like waiting for a shoe to drop. That's what it feels like. Like everybody's waiting on the next thing to happen. Like there's a planned next thing. And when that shoe drops, bam. Now it takes us into Iran. And I can't tell you what it is. I can guesstimate that it would be some kind of false flag. Could be Israel does a false flag because it's in their best interest to go into Iran. It could be the Iranian regime itself saying, hey, you know, we're going to go in and we want you terrorist groups, terrorist cells to activate. It could be just a terrorist cell that doesn't like the language that's being used by the president and Pete Hegseth. This is the danger of having an occupied media. And I think that Donald Trump and Pete Hegseth know this. I would say they have to understand this at this point in time. But it doesn't mean that you won't defend what's going on. It's the danger. It's the danger. And if I could give the president advice, I would say, Mr. President, you've defeated Iran. You want to talk highly about Iran and keep them in a position where, you know, where we can negotiate. I would say, Mr. President, please don't be brought into bashing the Iranian regime, because it's clear that Iran kind of like, they gave us a heads up on the missiles was coming. So it's clear you're working with them, but the media's job is to try and get you to turn against them, or to get them to turn against you, or to sow division. And I feel like we're falling into that trap a little bit. Now, what does it look like not to fall into that trap? I'm not sure what that looks like, honestly. I mean, there's got to be some things you say about them, but there's got to be, in other cases, you just can't be, I don't know, you just can't come out like this.
Now, this is also, Iran made the statement, and it's also, if you read the document that was given, that Pete can talk about if you'd like, the document said it could be very severe damage, but they didn't take that. They said it could be limited or it could be very severe. They really didn't know, other than to say it could be limited or it could be very, very severe. And you didn't choose to put that because it was very early after. Since then, we've collected additional intelligence. We've also spoken to people who have seen the site, and the site is obliterated. And we think everything nuclear is down there. They didn't take it out. Now, this is also Iran made the statement, and it's also, if you read the document that was given.
And so this is a question asked by Caitlin Collins of CNN. And quite frankly, in my opinion, the Trump administration does it to itself. Like, Caitlin Collins CNN wouldn't be a part of anything. CNN wouldn't get asked a question. CNN would just be blackballed. Instead of like going back and forth with them, because they're enemy-owned media. Why go back and forth with them? It doesn't benefit you in any way, shape, or form. They're going to lie. They're going to twist. They're going to spin. They're going to cry. They're going to whine. They would be beneath my White House. So Caitlin Collins would have came there, and she would have never been called upon for a question. I would discourage her. In fact, CNN wouldn't fly on my plane. They had to fly themselves to NATO. Then when they got to NATO, I would tell NATO, hey, revoke their passes. I would box them out. And that would just be that. You know, them, MSNBC, they would be boxed out. As long as those people have voices that matter, and as long as they can trigger the president of the United States, they have some power and some control. And so I feel like we give them way, way too much power. You know what I'm saying? Now, this is the funniest thing of the day right here. Hold on. The NATO chief, while Donald Trump was talking about the wars, Donald said, hey, you know, sometimes you got to let them fight it out like two kids and you know, let them fight for 2-3 minutes, and then by that time, nobody's going to want to fight. And the NATO chief called Donald Trump daddy. And the news media is having fun with it.
Go ahead, back white, yeah. White jacket, yeah. Go ahead, give my mic. Hello?
Deborah Haynes from Sky News. Mark Rutte, the NATO chief, who is your friend, he called you daddy earlier. Do you regard your NATO allies as kind of children?
Look, Marco Rubio bust out laughing.
No, he likes me. I think he likes me. If he doesn't, I'll let you know. I'll come back and I'll hit him hard, okay? No? He did it very affectionate. Daddy, you're my daddy.
Do you regard your NATO allies, though, as kind of like children and they're...
Go ahead.
You know, the funniest thing is America is daddy to NATO. We gave the most amount of money. If we pull out of NATO and Russia decide to attack, they're going to get their butt whooped. So we are daddy to NATO. We are daddy to, if you don't believe it, we was daddy to the UN, to the World Health Organization. What happened when we stopped giving money to the World Health Organization? Spirals out of control. We're going broke. Yeah. What happened when we cut off all the USAID funding from all over the world? They come out in Africa. Oh, our AIDS rate is going through the roof because homosexual African men aren't getting their protection. What? You're nasty. That's the problem. Yeah, your black ass is nasty. Stop being trifling. So, yeah, we are daddy. America is daddy. It's been daddy to everybody. It's why we had to come in and help Israel with this war. Daddy gave them missiles, and daddy gave them things that were block missiles. That's why Zelensky is all upset, because daddy won't give him no more money. So, yeah, we are daddy. The nation of America is daddy. It's why they're trying to overthrow daddy. They're trying to come in daddy's house, tie him up, and take everything from daddy. Now, one of the things I think is interesting is the fall of Jasmine Crockett. And this is the last thing I'm going to talk about. So, loudmouth Jasmine Crockett has been talking boss trash. She was trying to get a major position in the Democratic Party, and it didn't happen. No, it didn't happen. You want to know why? Because nobody wants to be represented by a loudmouth, ignorant black woman. Now, had Jasmine Crockett not listened to whoever gave her that advice to be ghetto and stupid, Jasmine Crockett might have had a chance. of rising in this party. But no. You had to listen to the people who told you to be loudmouth, caterpillar eyelash, long fingernails, weaving your head, caked on makeup, and ghetto. Jasmine, they played you. And this is what people don't understand about the fake persona that Jasmine put on. She was advised to do that, and whoever advised her to do that played her. And that advisor had to be a Democratic Party advisor. They played her from day one. So here's what it tells me. Jasmine Crockett actually probably would have been a fantastic Democratic politician. Somebody saw that, and then they flipped her and turned her into this. And this is the result of her being flipped. They've smacked it up, flipped it, and rubbed it down. Oh, no.
Question is, ceasefire. What up with it? Again, I know nothing because this man lies and governs by Truth Social. So I have no idea. All we know is what we get on the reporting.
Well, you're not on the intel committees. So you're not on any oversight committees. So you don't know a damn thing because you just got told you weren't going to be on no committee. Matter of fact, they put somebody else on the committee. A Latino. They put a Latino on the committee. You want to know why? Because the Democratic Party is leaning heavily towards immigrants. You Negroes don't mean nothing to their party. And this is the craziest thing. They can't see it. Jasmine don't see it. It's obvious. Watch this. Let's go back to our news board real quick. And then we out here. Hold on. Come on, thing. Move. It's obvious that you Negroes don't mean nothing to them. Because, where's his ass at? Here you go. The only people that mean something to the Democratic Party is people that look like Kilmore or Brega Garcia. So there's more of them in this nation than you Negroes. And so that's why they're fighting for Kilmore to come out of prison right now. You got to understand. If you a black Democrat, your time is over. You missed the bus. It's over. It's over. You need to get off of that. You missed your chance. They have used and abused you, and it's over. Tell them, Gus. This Gus. See, Gus getting the psychic vision. See? Gus getting the psychic vision. Tell him, Gus. It's coming to me. Psychic vision. The Democratic Party. They wait. I see it all. The Democratic Party is the party of illegals. Wait, what's that I see? Oh, what? Jasmine Crockett? They used and abused her. Just like they used and abused all the rest of the Muslims. I see Muslims everywhere. Muslims everywhere, but not a drop to drink. That's what we're dealing with right now. That's what we're dealing with right now. Muslims everywhere, not a drop to drink. Yeah. Y'all keep on playing around with these people if y'all want to. Gus, show them, Gus. Show them, Gus. Ladies and gentlemen, Gus Burton. Gus Burton. Show them, Gus. See, that's how black people should be behaving right now when it comes to the Democratic Party. Show them, Gus. That's the skepticism they should have. But no. So, of course, she's going to be feeling like this.
Which supposedly part of the ceasefire includes Israel stopping what they're doing. And so I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. So I don't get Israel briefings. At this point, I'm not getting U.S. briefings. So I don't know. I don't know that I would believe it. I think.
Trick, I don't know that I would believe you.
When we get reports that ain't nobody else being attacked.
I don't know that I believe this heifer when she talking. Honestly, I just don't know that I would believe anything she got to say.
Question is, ceasefire. What up with it?
Listen, ladies and gentlemen, we are dealing with a Democratic Party that is at war while trying to make war with everybody else, and it's just not going to work. They've lost. Not only have they lost, but they've been taken over. And that's all it boils down to. Anyway, if you like the video, click the like button, please. Click the share button, extra please, and subscribe if you haven't. All right, I'll see y'all on the next video.